kids and grandkids there. It's kind of hard to get them up at 8.
Yeah, oh yeah, we knew we weren't gonna get ours up.
When I'm off.
They don't hear.
My goodness, it's getting quiet. Got about a 2-minute countdown, so y'all got a couple more minutes to chat if you want. We'll get it started. Morning. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring the meeting to order. Good morning, everyone. It is so good to see such a great crowd of, especially our young people here today. So thank you all for coming. The Texas Government Code permits this Board of Trustees to meet in a closed executive session for the following reasons, among others: to consult with the college district's attorneys on matters deemed privileged by the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct or Government Code 551.071, to deliberate regarding real property under 551.072, a prospective gift under 551.073, certain personnel matters under 551.074, security devices or security audits under 551.076, and economic development negotiations under 551.087. If the board meets in closed session, we will announce the particular section under which we will be doing so prior to initiating the closed portion of the meeting. Now, I would like to invite Jessa Faleas and Joseph Boyce to the front to give our invocation and pledge.
Let us all bow our heads and feel the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, thank you for every seat that has been filled here today, for each mind and heart that feels the presence of this room. We thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. You are indeed the giver of all good gifts. And we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all our students and staff members, both the teaching and support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly. We continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be to you, loving God, now and always through Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all being here to do that this morning. By the way, both are members of Phi Theta Kappa. Okay, it does not look like anyone signed up for public comment this morning, so we're going to go ahead and go forward to item 4A, Chancellor's Administrative Report.
Thank you, Chair Colkhorst, and good morning, everyone. It's so lovely to have you join us today. Trustees, I would like to share an update regarding the construction projects taking place across the college district. At Prairie Lee Hall, the overall project is approximately 90% complete. The drywall, tape, texture, and interior painting are complete in buildings A and B, and the elevators have been installed. The flooring installation continues in the common areas. All the appliances have been installed in Building A and partially installed in Building B. This project remains on schedule for substantial completion in June, with final completion scheduled for August the 4th. At the Leroy Dryer Field, concrete pours continue. The dugout and the lower level floors were poured on April the 5th. The dugout walls and the roof will be poured later this month, and the renovations to the concession stands and the restrooms are continuing. The construction manager at risk has notified the college of delays due to weather and unforeseen conditions during the excavation. Our facility staff are working with a contractor to minimize delays, and a plan is in place that will allow the baseball team to practice and play fall games at the stadium even as the work is being completed. This project is now scheduled for completion in November of 2022. And then over to the old main building. The painting of the plaster and the drywall ceilings is almost complete. The flooring installation is in process, and the reframing of the bell tower and associated electrical rough-in is ongoing. The bell is scheduled to be returned for installation in May. The submittal review for the elevator modernization is underway, and upgrades to the elevator are scheduled from mid-July until mid-August. The furniture for the first and second floors is scheduled for installation in May and June, and the furniture for the third and fourth floors will be installed in June. This building now is currently scheduled to be ready for occupancy in August of 2022. And then over to the Bryant Campus Administration Building. The architects continue to develop the facility design while meeting regularly with our Blen administration. Blen also has met with the City of Bryant to discuss pre-development for this project. The administration building is scheduled for completion in November of 2023. And then over at the Relish Campus Administration Building, the flooring is being installed in the first floor corridors. Additionally, ceilings, lighting, cabinetry, and HVAC diffusers are being installed throughout the building. And this project is scheduled for occupancy in August in advance of the fall 2022 semester beginning. And on to amazing, talented students that we have at Blen. We have 3 groups that we would like to showcase today, and I'd like to start with livestock judging. Trustees, we are joined today by Debbie Vavra, Dean of Arts, Kinesiology, and Agriculture, and the Blen College Livestock Judging Team. The team has enjoyed an outstanding spring that includes first place finishes at the San Antonio Livestock Exposition and the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. At San Antonio, Blen won the team competition and placed 3 individuals in the top 5. The team concluded its season with another national victory at Houston. At this time, I'd like to invite Dean Vavra and livestock judging coach Bryce Munn to share additional details and to introduce the team members in attendance today. Welcome, Dean Vavra.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Colcourse, members of the board, and Chancellor Hensley. I want to thank you for your support of the livestock judging team and allowing us to be present this morning to honor this program and the accomplishments of our students. I did some research, and this marks the 20th year of the Blen College Livestock Judging Team, and I'm not sure a lot of people realize that, but I found that out this morning when I talked to Doug Pierce, and so we definitely need to have a party. I would be remiss if I did not recognize the efforts of Doug Pierce, who had the vision for establishing the livestock judging team. And he wasn't able to be here this morning. He's teaching on the Bryant campus, but he definitely deserves a lot of credit for getting this team going. He told me the first year he didn't have any scholarships and there weren't very many students, but his goal for the team was just not to come in last place. If you've been over to the Rankin Ag Complex, you've probably noticed that the awards and banners overflow all of our trophy cases, and there are many in the attic. The livestock judging team has been tremendously successful, and so you can see they definitely have not been last place. A big part of that success can be attributed to the gentleman who joined me today, Assistant Dean Dr. Bren Benke, and our livestock judging coaches, Bryce Munn, Quest Newberry, and Clayton Schramm. I would like to point out that these gentlemen are former students of our ag program and our livestock judging team, and 3 of them are actually my former students. I taught them when I was about 5 years old. And I think it speaks volumes that after completing their advanced degrees, where did they go? They came back to Blen College to further help this wonderful team. So at this time, I'd like to ask, I think it's Bryce and Quest is going to come up, or just Quest is going to come forward and tell you about this year's accomplishments and introduce the members of the team. So thank you very much.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're very excited to complete our year and end on a very successful note. And it's due to our leadership throughout the college. It allows us to have the opportunity to go out and compete and to be able to celebrate that today as we conclude what I would phrase a very successful year. And we're very excited about that. And so myself and Clayton Schramm were able to hit the road with the team quite a bit, while Dr. Binky and Mr. Munn help us very, very much, and Mr. Pierce as well, who's our backbone, who is always there to lend a helping hand to let us know when we need to do something a little bit better. And so as we talk about the team today, I don't want to take up too much time, but wanted to share a couple of things about that group. Whenever they came to Blinn, we had 3 goals. One of them was to be a good judger, a good student, and a great person. And I wanted to hit on those 3 real quick today. And so as a good student, the group that you have sitting back there, I think did that to a very high degree. That group of individuals went throughout their 2 years, and their GPA, the average GPA is a 3.54. And so I'm very excited about that. And I think that allows them to go to whatever senior college that they want to. And I'm very pleased to announce that all of them will be transferring to a 4-year university and, continuing their education and also their judging experience. And so that's always our first goal, is to make sure that we're the proper stop for the final goal to maybe end up at a 4-year university, still chasing their goal of being a competitive livestock judger. In regards to livestock judging, and the occasion today makes it maybe just a bit obvious that we had some success towards the end, but it wasn't always that easy for that group. As we think about the times, when they're a senior, their senior year in high school is a little bit different, due to some different occurrences. And I think oftentimes around campus, we maybe forget about that. All of our students, they're a tough group of young people that we have walking around Blinn College right now. And I'm lucky to interact with the group back there that we're able to show how tough they could be. And so whenever we were maybe a little bit, just a little bit maybe hindered from being able to compete due to around the nation, things being just a little bit different, this group never gave up. And I think that speaks volumes about them. And to just share a short story, and they'll laugh about it, about the Blue Dragon Classic in Kansas, a cold day, about 30 degrees. It was raining. It was an outside contest, and just get right to it. We did not end up first or second or third that day. We ended up so far down the line that I didn't really want to tell them, just to be completely honest. And the moral of the story is the next weekend, it was a year ago, we loaded up and we went to practice again. I think that just shows their kind of work ethic that they did. And instead of holding their heads low and giving up, they walked to Rankin every day to practice whenever that's what we had to do. And whenever we talked about their judging accolades, we could call up one by one what they did, and it's pretty astounding. Everyone could stand for something that they did throughout their 2 years. If it's win a contest, win reasons, place in beef cattle, and we could go through that. But what's awesome about them is they believed in the team atmosphere. And that's what I know us there at the Rankin Ag Complex and through the leadership of the college, I think that's important, that we're able to build that team atmosphere of that competitive unit that's sitting there on the back 2 rows. And as we conclude the year at San Antonio and Houston, I try to find some analogies to represent our margin of victory, but it becomes just a little bit hard, because if you're not in livestock judging, it's hard to say what 40 points means. Well, 40 points is a lot. I guess is to say that it's, maybe Tiger Woods winning by a couple more strokes, maybe than you think he should, or the Cowboys winning by 50 points, or, those kind of things. And so it's a really awesome accomplishment with what they were able to do. And it goes to just show that if you never give up and keep working like they did, you can get a lot of accomplished. And so as judges, you could check that one off as good judges, and they accomplished that. And then lastly, the third thing that Mr. Pierce has always talked about, and I think is very important, is to be great people. And I think that if you look back there, and if you will for a minute, just turn back and look at those 2 rows, it's a great group of young people. And I say that because they're able to, in a time of adversity and change and challenge, to create the culture that they're leaving here for the future generations, for future teams, and just things to talk about. They're type of young people that they say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They hold the door open for you. And around this community, I can go to the cleaners, to sports clips, to the grocery store, and they know the livestock judging team because of the way they interacted with one another around the community. And I say those things because I think that's something that's very important about that group. And then lastly, I think that their ability to better our program when they leave, their mark's going to be here. Our camp filled up as quick as it ever has, and we're very excited about that this summer. Our incoming class, we've had more interest from across the nation and within the state of Texas for our incoming freshman class as ever before, and that all happened before San Antonio and Houston. And so to talk about what they're able to do for our department and for the school, it's not about the 40-point victory, it's about what they did when they interacted with people throughout their 2 years. And so Mr. Schramm said it after Houston. He said, if you look at that group, you'll see a group of competitors, a group of winners, and a group of Blinn Buccaneers. And I think that's what they stand for. And so thank y'all so much for letting us come up here today. And I hope that if you look back there and you look at those young people, you know that they were proud of their time here, and hope y'all are as proud of them as we are. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Dean Vavra and Coach Munn and all of our leaders in the ag program. We're so proud of you, and we want our board to have a chance to meet our wonderful participants in this program. And so I know it may be a bit crowded, but I'd like to ask you all to just come through, form a line, let the board walk across here and just let the board shake your hand and say hello. And then could we gather in the middle between the television set and this dais, and we'll take a picture together. Won't you come forward at this time now? And we're going to gather right there.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And bring your trophies with you so that we can all see them. And Rich Bray will direct us. And if I could suggest anybody who's a little shorter to the front and taller to the back. And trustees, just get wherever you can behind, because Rich is going to try to elevate a little bit so he can get a downward shot so we can try to get everybody in. But I know we'll need to disregard the 6-foot rule and just tighten up with each other as close as we can for this one.
All right, guys, and 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
What a wonderful group. And you did such a wonderful job. Thank you for your eloquence in talking about our program today. We really appreciate it. Well, trustees, we're also joined this morning by Max Hibbs, Dean of the Division of Engineering, Computer Technology and Innovation, and Head Coach Aaron Capico and the members of the Blen College Esports team. Dean Hibbs, will you please share an update regarding the Esports program and also introduce the members of your team in attendance today?
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Hensley. With me is Coach Capico and Coach Kyle Murto. And we don't have the history that the livestock judging team has. As you know, we've been in existence for just a little less than 2 years as a competing entity. And we born during the pandemic, operated during the pandemic, and we have had successes that we couldn't have dreamt of when we began. Thanks to your support, we have many opportunities ahead of us. We're going to open the new arena at the Rellis campus and relocating and expanding the arena, the competitive and practice areas, that's what those are, here in Brenham this fall. But I'd like to bring Aaron to the podium and let him explain to you, tell him all the good things that have happened in the past, what's happening in the current season, the news of the day, and other pride points for the team.
Thank you all for having me, first of all. I'll go down the line and introduce the players that are here today. We have our team manager, William Vader, varsity Overwatch player, William Rossley, Hayden Evans, also a varsity Overwatch player, Pierce Ray, another varsity Overwatch player, Joshua Manning, another varsity Overwatch player, Dylan Gerlach, a varsity Valorant player, Wesley Capalucci, a varsity League of Legends player, and Emilio Rangel, a varsity Smash Bros player. Just a few points of pride for our program is the large distribution of students that we have. We have students from not only all over the great state of Texas, but of course, the country and the world. We have students from Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, New York, China, and Sweden. We're extremely proud of those students and being able to bring students here from all over. On top of that, we're proud of students that we've been able to send on to esports programs at four-year universities. These universities include West Texas A&M, Texas A&M main campus, the University of St. Thomas, as well as the Oakland Esports program in Michigan. A brief overview of some of our overall success. We've competed in 114 matches through the regular season. We are 81-33 in all of those matches. That is a 71% win rate in the first 2 years of our program. That's frankly astounding for a program as young as ours, and it cements us as one of the best programs, not only for two-year colleges in the country, but in general between two-year and four-year universities. People know who we are in a very early time. Some more specific accomplishments of our team. Our Rocket League team fell to eventual national runner-up in our first season ever in the NACE national tournament, leaving us in the top four with a top 4 finish. Valorant also competed in that event, leaving us with a top 8 finish. In the spring of that season, and going into our first season in the NJCAA, Valorant finished 7-1 with only losses coming to eventual national champion that year, Northern Virginia College. League of Legends competed in the spring as well in 2021. They finished with a 4-3 record against 2- and 4-year universities, and we finished overall the highest ranking 2-year college in our division. In the fall of this year, Valorant competed in the Collegiate Valorant Conference, where we ended national runner-up to University of Houston, who is currently the number 2 team in the country. We also competed in several other national tournaments with our Valorant team this fall, including top 8 and top 4 finishes. A lot of those losses, unfortunately, coming to the University of Houston. They became a bit of our rival throughout the fall season, but now I believe a couple of our players are in talks to compete there even as early as next fall as well in their esports program. Moving on to our current season, our Valorant team finished the regular season undefeated in the NJCAA, and as recently as last night, won their first round playoff matchup against Catawba Valley College, where we're now in the top 8 in the country, looking to compete against Fort Scott College this Saturday. Our Valorant team, or our Overwatch team, finished the season 8-1 in the regular season, and they will have their first playoff match this Friday against Dallas College. As far as new students who are coming to our program, we're looking to have one of the best years that we've had ever for recruiting. We have 15 to 20 new students that will be coming here strictly on esports scholarship that may not have come here otherwise. We are looking to recruit players from Brazil to have a nationally competitive League of Legends team, as well as talks with several Valorant players to look to have a top 10 team in the country again this year for Valorant. Working in our community, we're looking to host tournaments on the Brenham campus as well as the Bryant campus. We're also in the early stages of finding out what a summer camp is going to look like to try and get the Bryant and Brenham community involved at large. We're extremely proud of this program. We're extremely proud of these players. Without their help and without the hard work of my assistant coach, Kyle Murto, I don't know how far we would have come, but we've come a long way, and I don't think we have any plans to stop now. First, I'd like to introduce Dylan Gerlach. He's our varsity Valorant captain to speak.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me today.
The esports program has just given me so much, and I just wanted to share a little of that with you guys today. I'm originally from Nevada, born and raised, and I'm strictly here in Texas, in this great state, because of esports. And academically, I'm meeting new people. We're achieving in our esports program, Valorant, along with all of my other fellow esports players. And, you know, beyond everything else that esports has given me and this program has given me, it's first and foremost given me a purpose, and couldn't really ask much more than that. So thank you.
Good morning. I'm Blake Rossley. I'm an Overwatch player. I'm from Plano, Texas, which is a small city outside of Dallas, if you don't know where it is. And I remember the first week of school had blown by, and that weekend I was just sitting there going through my emails, seeing if a professor had emailed me, seeing what assignments I'd do. And I stumbled upon the esports flyer that gets sent out at the beginning of the year. And little did I know that was one of the luckiest things to ever happen to me. And signing up for it was one of the best decisions of my entire life, and has been the best decision of my college career so far. This program has given me the tightest group of friends I've ever had. It's given me a group of like-minded people, and it's given me the people I'm living with next year. Going forward, I couldn't be happier, because we learned we're going to Atlanta, Georgia to compete nationally against many other schools. And I know I'm proud of all of my other teammates here. And thank you for your continued support. And I look forward to making you all proud in Atlanta.
Yeah, so as Blake mentioned, we have been selected as the NJCAA representative for Overwatch to compete in a in-person LAN event in Atlanta, Georgia. We were selected last week, as recently as last week, and that's something we're also extremely proud about.
I am so delighted that you could join us today, and to see the people who have actually I've been reading about and all the announcements for the gamesmanship that you're doing. 2 years ago, I didn't know much about this program, but I heard about it, and we brought it to our trustees to consider initiating this program, and it's been such a success. So thank you so very much for being here today, and lots of good luck in Atlanta, and I'm going to look forward to another win, I'm sure. If it's not a win, it's a win anyway, because you all are doing a tremendous job, and you're such great individuals and wonderful representatives for Blinn College. So we thank you so very much. And I know that our trustees would like to have a chance to shake your hand and meet you as well. So would you mind doing the same if you would come maybe perhaps out through the outer aisle and just come around and say hello to our trustees? We'll gather again in the middle and we'll take a photo together. And Dean Hibbs, if you'd like to come forward, please.
Congratulations, good job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, good job. Good job. Good job. Great job, great job. Good job. How short are you?
Like 5'9".
Yeah, right. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Hey, it's good to wave, huh?
I should probably bow.
I'll count to 3, and 1, 2, 3, and one more time. And 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
Whitney telling me basketball.
And trustees, did you see their shirts that they're wearing? We had everything specially designed as we do for all of our sports. They look really nice. Aaron, thank you again for all your leadership at Blen. We so appreciate it. And trustees, I don't know if you caught that, but we have esports operating now at the Brenham campus and also at the Bryant campus. But when we open up Relish, we have an arena, an esports arena on the first floor of the building, and it'll be prominently noted as people walk into the front door of that particular building. So we're so proud of them. Well, trustees, we're joined today by Dr. Becky McBride, Vice Chancellor for Student Services, and Blen's Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society on the Brenham and Bryant campuses. Now, students from the Bryant campus chapter won top honors in 3 categories at the organization's international conference in Denver, Colorado recently. Blen received the Distinguished Theme Award for the students' Green Plumbing Project, which also won recognition at the regional conference, and the Distinguished Theme Award as one of the top 50 overall projects, and the Distinguished Chapter recognition. Blen was also one of 39 chapters to receive this recognition among about 1,200 chapters across the entire world. Additionally, our wonderful Dr. Busicki was presented with the Distinguished College Administrator Award in recognition of his work supporting Blen's Phi Theta Kappa chapters. And then on the Brenham campus, 5 PTK students were selected for the All Texas Academic Team and were honored at a virtual medallion ceremony just recently on Friday, April the 1st. This award is sponsored by the University of Texas System and the Texas Association of Community Colleges, and selections are based on students' leadership, academic achievements, and civic engagements. Congratulations, Dr. Busicki. We were so proud for you too. Well, trustees, at this time, I would like to invite Dr. McBride to come forward to share more information and to introduce our PTK students who are in attendance today.
Good morning. What an exciting morning we're having, Chancellor. It's such an exciting meeting.
Yes, thank you.
It is. I have the pleasure of introducing 4 advisors we have for PTK. We have 2 on the Bryant campus, Miss Emily Erdman and Melissa Meeks. And in Brenham, we have Dylan Phipps and Sophia Polk. On a side note, there is a rich history of PTK at Blinn. I do think we may need some more display cabinets for their awards. I was looking at them last week in Brenham, and the cabinet is already full. So I just wanted to share that as well. It's exciting news to share. So at this time, I'd like to ask the advisors to come up and share a few words and introduce their students.
Like the handheld mic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Well, while we have our presentation pulled up, I just want to say thank you all so much for having us here and letting us speak. I'll go ahead and introduce myself and the Brenham students. My name is Dylan Phipps, and my co-advisor is Sophia Pope. And at the back, we've got Mariano Ortega. Y'all already know Joseph Boyce and Jessa Felius, and they are all present or past officers for our chapter.
No. Good morning. Thank you again for having us here to recognize the students today. I'm Emily Erdman, and this is Dr. Melissa Meek. We're advisors for the Bryant chapter. And with us today, we have Sherihan Jahari. Sorry. She is also an All Texas Academic Team member. We have Madison Zidzek and Bailey Halbert, who are chapter officers as well, as is Sherry. And then Kaylee McClintock down here is actually a Blinn graduate. She is a former Phi Theta Kappa Texas regional officer, a former PTK president for the Bryant chapter. And she is actually, again, attending classes for a business degree with Blinn. So all of them are preparing, I think, 3 this fall, or 2 this fall, and then 2 the next semester. Okay.
So I can go ahead and just introduce what Phi Theta Kappa is and some of the stats for the organization. Phi Theta Kappa is the international 2-year college honor society. Most of the chapters are in the United States, but we do have several in other countries. So Canada has some chapters, Germany has some, and just a few years back, all of the two-year colleges in Jamaica added chapters for Phi Theta Kappa. There are other countries as well, but those are the ones that I can say off the top of my head. Here we go. It was founded in 1918, so it's got quite a history. It began in Missouri, even though the headquarters are in Mississippi now, so I always get those a little confused. The eligibility that we have set here for both of our chapters at Blinn is a 3.5 or higher GPA with a minimum of 12 hours of credit at a two-year community college. We have almost 1,300 chapters worldwide, and 131,000 scholars are inducted annually into a Phi Theta Kappa chapter.
And at Blinn, over this past semester, we have inducted over 500 students into our chapters. So the membership benefits that they receive here on campus, and actually just moving on to their transfer institutions, recognition they get on campus, but they also get it on their transcript. It's the only honor society that gets noted on their transcripts, and it also goes on their applied texts. So when they do transfer, a lot of schools have these automatic transfer scholarships that they can receive specifically for being Phi Theta Kappa members. They can also apply with Phi Theta Kappa. Over $90 million are awarded annually to Phi Theta Kappa students. Blinn does have quite a few scholarships, mostly for the Beta Alpha chapter here in Redham. But there's also an Alpha Beta alumni chapter that does offer a scholarship. They get their leadership skills and development. There are many what they call competitive edge programs, and these are kind of self-paced online programming where they can do transfer edge. It teaches them how to write a scholarship application. They have a competitive edge, which is helping with employment, resume writing. So they get a lot of these soft skills as well as just regular academic honors. And one of the biggest things they have is that it's a network of fellow scholars. Bring up, I think Sophia's next.
Good morning, board. Thank you for having us here. I'm going to talk about the core values of Phi Theta Kappa. As Blinn College District has core values, so does Phi Theta Kappa. Our hallmarks, as mentioned, are scholarship, leadership, fellowship, and service. The scholarship hallmark, it focuses on an honors and action project that the students produce yearly. And this is a project that is focused on, identifies the cause and a need and a potential solution to a nationwide project that the students will compete in. Leadership, it develops students into officers. All chapters have a president. Then we have a vice president of scholarship, leadership, service, and also fellowship. And again, the hallmarks that are focused on service is giving back to the community. One way of giving back to the community, specifically to the Blinn College community, is through a college project that is developed with the assistance of our Vice Chancellor of Student Services, The students go out, they give back to the community, not just to Blinn, but also in the surrounding communities. And fellowship, that is where the students really get to let their hair down, have fun with regular meetings, and also different events that are produced through and coordinated throughout the semester. So our students are really busy, having fun and learning as well. The student success, thank you. Student success, Phi Theta Kappa is known for the students that are members. Over 14,000 Phi Theta Kappa members nationwide enjoy scholarship or recipients of scholarships, and 91% of those members complete their associate degree and or transfer to a 2-year, 4-year institution, much like Blinn promotes with our students.
We are so proud of our students and all the awards that they have achieved over these past few years. We just want to take one more second to highlight that we've had the Honors in Action Merit Award in our regional level, the College Project Award at Merit, Distinguished Chapter Officer, Distinguished Chapter Advisor,
Distinguished Administrator, Dr. Busicki. This is all at the regional level. Top Texas Chapter, Horizon Award, Milestone Award, Hall of Honors for students and advisors. But then we want to focus on what we've won internationally. Guys, we blew them away this year. Just want to tell you, at Catalyst 2022, Blen was well represented. We won several honors. Distinguished College Administrator, Dr. Busicki, and I'll tell you, he took the stage and shined. We were so proud of him and so happy that he joined us in Denver for this conference. We won the Honors in Action Distinguished Theme, Distinguished Honors in Action, and Distinguished Chapter. Let me just emphasize for a minute. Out of over 1,200 chapters, 39 were recognized, and Blen College was one of those. So we were very excited, and actually, Emily and I were so surprised when that award came. We were happier than the students, I think, but we were really excited. We won the Distinguished College Project Beta Alpha Award and 5-star chapters. That's right, both of your chapters are recognized as 5 stars. That's the highest that you can get. So both of yours are. We also have 5-star advisors. We are so proud to be part of Blen, and we hope that you can recognize what our students have done and join us in honoring them for what they've done. Thank you so much for your support.
Once again, you all are just amazing. So thank you, Dr. McBride, for your leadership, and Director Polk and Professors Erdman, Meek, and Phipps. Thank you, and congratulations to your students. And I'm not going to let you leave without a photo. You've kind of caught how this works, right? But I want to do this because it gives our trustees a chance to know you and meet you individually. And it also allows us to broadcast throughout our community and the region and the state and the nation at large when we put your pictures out there and showcase our wonderful PTK program. So with that, may I invite you perhaps to go through to the aisle side, and trustees, again, if you would like to introduce yourself to them, and then we'll gather in front once more for a photo.
Awesome prayer. Thank you. Hey, congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for all your hard
Thank you for all
work.
you do. Thank you for all you do.
Maybe there's a correlation between age and smart.
All right, I'll count to 3 and 1, 2, 3. And just one more time. And 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
Trustees, thank you for the time allocated this morning. Graduation is coming up in a few weeks, and we wanted to particularly have an opportunity to showcase some of these exemplary programs that are recognized nationally for Blen College and the wonderful students and their leadership that we have within this community. So thank you all for coming. And remember, those of you who would like to leave, you're more than welcome to, and we do have food in the kitchen for you. And with this, Trustee Colchrist, I'll return the podium to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hensley. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but seeing these, these folks that work with the young people and the young people, that kind of, it makes it all worthwhile. So thank you guys for being here. Okay, we're going to go on to item 4B, presentation of financial statement package for the period ended March 31st, 2022. And I think Mr. Richard Cervantes is going to take charge there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Hensley, members of the board. It really is a pleasure to see that. I've always said that ours is an honorable profession, and looking at these kids and the successes and the small part that we do to help them realize their dreams is just, it makes it all worthwhile. So thank you, Dr. Hensley, for bringing that to us. Really appreciate it. I'm a cog in the wheel, and I see the end result, so it's all good. So today, we're going to talk about the financial report that ended at the end of March, 7th month into the fiscal year, so we're 58% of the way through. Our revenue this year is $91 million. Our expenses a little bit over $67 million, which leaves us almost $24 million net. As we have in the past, we have some HERF money in there. There's $13.3 million of that $14 million that's included in there. A little less last year than what we've done so far. And when we compare our revenue to last year, that $91 million, or this year, 91 million compared to the 88 million, we're up $2.8 million. Again, we've got a little bit more HERF money this year so far. By the end of the year, that's going to reverse. There'll be more for next year or for last year. Our expenditures are up, as we've said, $67 million compared to 61 million. It's $5.7 million. Look at that number right above that, or that line right above that, the debt service, 2 million. That makes up a good portion of it. But as we've said throughout the year, students, faculty, staff coming back, we have more travel, we have more utility expenses, we have more consumables and things of that sort. Our change in fund balance, it is less, $2.8 million compared to last year, but still $24 million is a really good number. Exceptional number. When we look at our tuition and fees revenue, we budgeted a little bit over $69 million. To date, we're a little bit $48 million, 70% of the way. Our tuition revenue is down $385,000. The out of district is the biggest portion of that. We do have increases in in-district, increases in out-of-state, as well as the non-funded. Our fee revenue is also down $1 million, a little bit over $1 million. A big portion of that is our technology fee that we charged at that point, or what we've been charging, and it's less. There are less students that are taking these distance ed courses, and so that's what's attributing that, or big portion explaining that. So our housing and food service revenue, we budgeted $11.1 million, and to date we're at a little bit over $6 million, 55% of the way. Our auxiliary service as a whole is up $1 million, 16%, and the bulk of that is in parking, over a little bit, almost $1 million there. Again, as faculty and staff, students in particular, as they come back, this has helped that particular revenue item. Our total expenses are up $5.7 million compared to last year. As I said, the debt service accounts for a big portion of it, as well as the E&G expense. Our payroll expense at this point is showing the bottom there is, for this year is a little bit over 50%. That number will continue to rise throughout the year. Mike, what I think we're going to end up is somewhere around 60%. It's lower than it has been over the last few years. That's probably more attributed to the HERF money and the differences between the two. There's more HERF money that we're recognizing now. It's causing that number to go down. Our debt service, as we've said for some time, as a percentage of the overall revenue dollar, continues to go down. And you see in the Corona years, the virus years 20 and 21, the number was about 5.7, so it's significantly less, but we did borrow a little bit more money, so that's what's playing part of that. We expect that number will go down below 7% before the end of the fiscal year, which is what we had targeted. Our expense by category, salaries and benefits compared to last year is, you see the percentage is less. E&G, those consumables and travels, they're more. And then R&R, we didn't budget last year, but we have that included this year. And you can see the debt service is a sizable difference. Our the operating expenses, $2.7 million. Auxiliary is probably the biggest one. We have a huge increase in food service costs. Again, as students have come back to campus, we're buying more food and the price of food has gone up. Student cash and refunds in March, we received $1.7 million. Student financial aid, $3.2 million of it, but we issued refunds of almost $4 million, a little bit over $4 million. And we received student payments of $2.5 million, all of this in March. Our other cash receipts in March, we received almost $4.6 million. State appropriations, 2.4. Insurance proceeds has gone up, actually. I think right now the number that I saw in the more recent financial is somewhere around $6 million that we received in insurance proceeds, so quite a bit. Now those just flow through to pay for the expenses. The HERF institutional 1.3, and then a small amount in grants as well as interest. Interest rates are still very small. Our use of cash in March, a little bit over $12 million. Our construction is a big part of it, $3 million. And then you see down the bottom, the first day books, almost $1 million that we pay. Payroll still somewhere in the $5 million, so fairly normal. Increase in unrestricted cash, this is the totals. We had $1.7 million that we received from students, another $4.6 million from other sources, but we spent a large amount, almost $12.2 million, which led to a decrease in cash in March of almost $6 million. We pulled some of that from our bank, 2.8, as well as from our investment pool. The investment pools are more liquid than any of the other places that we have invested, so we can pull those out without any problems. Our unrestricted cash and cash equivalents, this is a little bit different than what I've shown you in the past. I've shown you all of the reserves and the different ones, and I asked the accountants if they could change this up a little bit and just put all the reserves down at the bottom. You see the $59.5 million, just lump it into one. And the reason why I would like you to start seeing that is that part's going to remain untouched, close to $60 million that we have set aside for reserves. You can see in the yellow, the funding for current projects. Right now, this board and the colleges move forward with over $50 million worth of projects that we are going to continue to take out of this unrestricted cash. That's going to bring that number down quite a bit overall once we're done paying for all those construction projects. The number on the right, the funding available for new projects, is over $22 million. That's in our Blen blue. That's the money that we have to play with for a period of time until we either borrow some more or we have more revenue that comes in. Our higher education emergency relief funds, still we have $3.5 million of that we have not spent in institutional funding. The student awards and the institutional strengthening have all been spent. We do have plans on the 3.5. A little bit less than $2 million will be spent on HVAC expenses for Old Main. That was approved. We're also asking facilities if they would look into other opportunities out there to spend the remaining funds. There could be other HVAC projects for other buildings. We've talked about retrofitting some of the water coolers around campus where they have little fillers that they could fill up their containers with. We're going to look at some of that as well as some of the touchless bathrooms with not touching the faucets and things of that sort. We still have some money from that we will spend in technology, another $100,000 of that. So we're going to use all this up. We did get an extension. It's not what they call the federal government would normally say. You would have to ask for these extensions, and they would say no cost extension, meaning you can't spend any money after that period of time. This one is not a no-cost extension. They extended the grant over up till June of next year. So even though we're going to try to spend all this money up this year as much as we possibly can, we do have some latitude in time. We're not going to be squeezed by time. This just shows what we have spent. And in the Blinn blue on the far right, you can see the $3.5 million. And I just explained how we hope to spend all that. I'll stand for any questions.
Board, anyone have any questions? Trustee Bohart? Okay. I think we're good. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to item number 5 in the agenda, consent items. All items listed in this portion of the agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Trustees and will be enacted upon one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a trustee so requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent and considered in discussion and possible action. Trustees receive agenda materials in advance of the meeting to prepare for the business to be conducted. Most of these items, trustees, you'll recall we went over in the last meeting that we went in great detail, and I think in general everyone accepted those. So if so, I would accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we accept the consent items as printed.
Trustee Wells. Trustee Menke, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, now we will move on to discussion and possible action items. Number 6 on the agenda, 6A, is authorization for the administration to negotiate and execute a contract for mechanical contractor services related to the building automation system upgrades on the Blen Bryant campus. Mr. Cervantes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Hensley, members of the board. The next 3 items are facilities, and Mr. O'Malley will respond to each one of those or present those, and then Mr. Feldhake will present the last 2.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Mr. Colcars, Dr. Hensley, members of the board. Thank you all very much for taking this action item up for us today. This item, the recommendation from the administration is to negotiate a contract with Gowan Garrett for mechanical related services on the Brennan Bryant campus with our building automation system. We received 3 proposals through our cooperative agreement procurement process from contractors, and the recommendation of the committee is to move forward with Gowan Garrett for this at $465,000. This project was originally coupled with a chiller project and brought to the board to seek this authorization several months ago. Because of some scheduling and lead time issues in the next agenda item, we decided to go ahead and break it into 2 separate projects. So this will be an independent project with Gowan Garrett for these services. The funds are coming from the unrestricted cash, and with your approval, we'll start negotiating a contract.
Okay, I am looking for a motion that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Gowan Garrett for mechanical contractor services related to the building automation system upgrades on the Blen Bryant campus. Trustee Krausen makes the motion. Trustee Aylert seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is B, authorization for the administration to negotiate and execute a contract for mechanical contractor services related to the chiller replacement on the Blen Bryant campus.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Again, the recommendation is for the administration to negotiate a contract with REC Industries for the mechanical contracting services related to the chiller replacement for the Blen Bryant campus. We received on March the 29th, we received 4 proposals for the chiller replacement project in Bryant. The committee reviewed those proposals and have a recommendation to move forward with REC at $412,298 for this project. The reason this project was broken out from the other one with the controls has to do with lead time. You'll notice in the summary that this has a 294-day lead time. And so we're looking at basically a year from now before this project actually gets completed. And because of the schedule of availability of materials. So the project's funded through unrestricted cash, and with your approval, we'll start negotiating a contract. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions?
I just have a couple of questions, Richard. Previously approved item 6A,
Yes, sir.
Is that the mechanical work affiliated with the chiller?
No,
Or
sir.
is it something totally different?
Totally different.
Okay. And my second question deals with just a question on two of these contractors. It said they rejected the proposal, no addenda acknowledged. Can you tell me what that is, it means?
Yes, sir. As we developed our set of plans and had our subsequent plan review meetings with the contractors, and they had different questions about maybe some of the items that were in the plans, we issued an addendum to all the contractors, so that any changes that were made from those initial reviews could be incorporated into their subsequent bid. On March the 29th, two of the contractors did not acknowledge that they had received that addendum. Therefore, they did not bid the latest set of documents
Okay,
and didn't have an accurate number.
okay. I was just curious what that was, didn't
Yes,
know.
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your questions, trustee Bohart. No other questions. I'm looking for a motion that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with REC Industries for mechanical contractor services related to the chiller replacement on the Blen Bryant campus.
So moved.
Trustee Bohart, looking for a second. Trustee Krausen, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Item C, authorization for the administration to negotiate and execute a contract for general contractor services related to the access control and interior finish upgrades on the Blen Bryant campus.
Thank you, sir.
Alan?
Again, the recommendation from the administration is to negotiate and execute a contract with Aggie Land Construction for general contractor services related to the interior upgrades and access control projects on the Blen Bryant campus. We received 4 proposals in March related to this work. The committee reviewed these, and we are making the recommendation to move forward with Aggie Land Construction at $619,000 for these improvements. These improvements this has been an ongoing process that we've done over the last couple of years, where we've taken 2 to 3 buildings on the campus and tried to address some of their interior needs, be it corridors, lighting, ceilings, lighting. I'm sorry, I said that twice. The flooring, the painting, the lighting, and the ceiling tiles to help and make those interior improvements. We're also going to add it to this one this year, the access control. We're transitioning away from that original system that was built 25 years ago and incorporating our new open option system, which we're doing at all of our new buildings at the Bryant campus as well. So it's not only the interior upgrades, but it's also the access control that we're upgrading. That too, the access piece has a little longer lead time than the interior upgrades. They'll be finished in August. The interior upgrades will be, but the access control will fall into probably November before that's completed. Funds are available in unrestricted cash, and with your approval, we'll move forward with a contract with Aggie Land Construction for these improvements.
Quick question.
Yes,
The $800,000 estimate for the project, where did that estimate come from?
Past experience with what we saw the improvements, how we saw the improvements unfolding.
It's a positive outcome these days, having under the estimate with the cost increases. So great. Any other questions? If not, I'd look for a motion that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Aggie Land Construction for general contractor services related to the access control and interior finish upgrades on the Blen Bryant campus.
So moved.
Trustee Wells. Trustee Aylard, second. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you very much. And
Yes,
Mark
sir.
will be presenting the next 2.
Great. Okay, we'll move on to item D, authorization for the administration to negotiate and execute a contract for mechanical contractor services related to the Student Center fire damper and mechanical renovations on the Blen Brenham campus.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Chairman Colcourse, Dr. Hensley, members of the board. Shifting gears to the Brenham campus now for a couple projects. This is a request for the board to authorize administration to negotiate and execute a contract with REC Industries for this mechanical contractor services at the Brenham Student Center. This is a project to do some upgrades to some fire dampers, some exhaust fans, some other mechanical work that we need to have done in our Brenham Student Center. On March 29th, we received proposals from two contractors. REC Industries, their proposal was reviewed by the committee, and the committee recommends and the administration recommends that we negotiate and execute a contract with REC Industries for $314,323 for these mechanical contractor services for the fire dampers and other mechanical work at the Student Center. REC Industries has indicated that they can complete this project here in the summer, which is good. We need to get this done before we get the student loan back. And the funds for this project are available from our FY22 repairs and renovations budget. So with that, I'll stand for any questions. And if the board approves, we would then proceed with the contract with REC for this project. Yes, ma'am.
Just out of curiosity, because this one only had 2 contractors. Most of them have 3 or 4. Did others just not respond?
It's just one of the
Okay.
uniquenesses. We have the same pool, all of the mechanicals, and we just only had interest from 2 contractors on this project.
Okay.
I have a question. And it really isn't with this one, and it almost goes back. You know, we've got 2 contracts here, and I didn't notice it before that Gowan did not submit full proposals. Is there any worry, and maybe to Richard too, about them handling the first project if they didn't complete the addendums and all for these other 2 projects?
That was, there was a unique situation, and I could certainly speak to that, or Mr. Cervantes, if you would want me to speak to the bidding, the procurement process on that. There was some needed follow-up. If you'll notice, the procurement process for that first project with Gowan is a little bit different. It was a cooperative agreement. We did have some issues with contractors acknowledging addenda on this project. Some contractors did, others for some reason did not. And on the first project, we had to shift the approach, and we did confirm with Gowan when we shifted that approach, they did acknowledge the addenda in that in the cooperative agreement approach.
Okay. Thank you.
Trustee Bohart.
Go ahead. Just to follow up on that, Dr. Krausen. So how we would view that is in that first instance, more of an administrative snafu that they didn't catch, that we asked them to tell us exactly what they were bidding on. So it doesn't go to the operational side in terms of being able to actually provide the construction services that we're asking for, but it is an administrative side, so.
Yeah, Mark, just another clarification here. This, the fire dampers, where's that? Is that located in the kitchen area that we're talking about here, or some other area?
They're located throughout the building. Generally, whenever you're going, there are fire barriers throughout buildings that the architects design in. And these are throughout the building. If a duct penetrates a wall that's a rated firewall, there's a damper there, and we need to upgrade those dampers. There are some antiquated systems we need to upgrade.
Okay. The only reason I was asking is it was not too long ago that we did a significant upgrade to the cafeteria area and everything else. So I was just curious why. I mean, was that not taken care of at that time in that area, or
This is a separate issue from what we did in the kitchen. This is distributed throughout the building.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. I wasn't 100% sure what a fire damper was either. I was thinking more kitchen, so thank you. Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with REC Industries, Inc. for mechanical contractor services related to the Student Center fire damper and mechanical renovations on the Blen Brenham campus.
You go.
I'll take a motion from Trustee Benke and a second from Trustee Ehlert. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving to item E, authorization for the administration to seek proposals for the demolition of existing structures and to seek qualifications for engineering services related to the design of a parking lot expansion on the Blen Brenham campus.
Very good.
Mark?
Thank you very much. Shifting gears away from some of the maintenance projects, we're going back to a master plan project now. And I do have a short presentation, as we typically do whenever we get into the master plan projects. But this request is that the board authorize administration to seek proposals for the demolition of Holloman Hall, Memorial Hall, and Solons Hall here on the Brenham campus. And with that, and in addition to that, we're also requesting authorization to seek qualifications for engineering services related to the design of a parking lot expansion on the existing site of Solons Hall. So we'll talk about that in this brief presentation. If we recall, when we presented our master plan implementation, this demolition of the existing student housing facilities was identified as project number 10. That identification, it was Brenham dorm demolitions is what we called it at the time. It included the demolition of Holloman Hall and Memorial Hall, which if I can get the cursor in the right location, they're located here on the east side of campus over near the railroad tracks. That's Holloman and Memorial. We also have Solons Hall located here on the southwest side of campus. Those are three of the halls that when we get the new Prairie Lee Hall, those are online to come, they will be coming offline when Prairie Lee Hall opens this fall. So we're looking, and we had in the plans in the master plan to demolish those buildings once the Prairie Lee Hall was available. Also indicated in this was the relocation of the Small Business Development Center and its eventual demolition. We're not proposing that at this time. Those plans are still in the works. At that time, the total budget for this was $565,000. We've broken out the demolition cost just for the three student housing facilities. It's closer to $490,000. And we had looked at doing that in the FY23. We brought that into the summer. We feel it would be a better idea to try and get those vacant buildings torn down before the students come back. It's better not to have vacant buildings around campus. In addition to the demolition, and with the opening of the STI building and the increased usage on that southwest quadrant of campus, and identifying that in the phase 2 of the master plan, there was a parking lot expansion indicated in Solons Hall. With that increased usage and the need to look at some more parking on that side of campus, administration is proposing expanding that parking lot. So that would be a separate, we would demolish the buildings this summer, then we would go and solicit for an engineer, request approval from the board for that engineer, and begin the design process in anticipation of completing that parking lot expansion next spring. So with that, upon board approval, the administration would seek proposals for demolition contractor services related to the Holloman, Memorial, and Solons Halls. The estimated project cost from the master plan was about $487,000 for those three student facilities to be demolished, and we would complete that this summer before the fall. And then in addition to that, we requested that the board authorize administration to seek qualifications for engineering services related to the design of the parking lot. We would then solicit those qualifications and bring those qualifications back to the board for their approval once we receive those. Again, on the demolition project, we would solicit the demolition prices and bring those back to the board. We would anticipate bringing those back in the July timeframe. So with that, I apologize, funds for this are from the unrestricted cash. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Mark. Go ahead, Trustee Bullard.
Mark, just a question on the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Are we going to, is the scope of the project going to include both asphalt and concrete?
I'm sure that we will look at a base bid and an alternate bid to compare the most appropriate pricing for asphalt and concrete.
Okay, thank you.
Question. We know what the plans are for the Solons Hall site with the parking lot. Holloman and Memorial, what's our short-term plan for where those sites were demolished, and maybe a little bit longer term plan for what those sites are going to be?
I believe short-term and long-term right now are both indicating that that would be returned to a green space. I do not believe, just off the top of my head, I do not believe that we have anything in the master plan indicating any vertical construction on that site.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other questions, board? Hearing no other questions, I'm looking for a motion that the board authorize the administration to seek proposals for demolition of Holloman, Memorial, and Solons Halls, and to seek qualifications for engineering services related to the design of a parking lot expansion at the existing site of Solons Hall on the Blen Brenham campus.
So moved.
Trustee Wells, Trustee Benke, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm running out of guys that want to make motions. A lot. Okay, moving on to F, authorization for the administration to negotiate and execute a contract for the college district's bookstore services. Mr. Cervantes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Hensley, members of the board. This request is that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Barnes and Noble for the college district's bookstore services. In January, the board or the administration issued a request for proposals to provide bookstore services. We had 3 responses. Committee, as usual, reviewed and analyzed the bids. And at this point, we're asking the board to initiate negotiations with Barnes and Nobles to execute a final agreement for the district's bookstore services. There are a number of things associated with the RFP as well as the contract that I believe will work out in favor to Blen. Barnes and Noble has been with the college for close to 20 years. They really have done a good job. The contract was about to expire at the end of June. We had to issue an RFP. They've done a good job for us, and it looks like they've put in a successful bid that will allow us to even take advantages of things such as signing bonuses, capital improvements for the new administration building on the Bryant campus. There are guarantees associated with the agreement if we're allowed to move forward. And then they have some successor to the first day that the board is familiar with that they may offer us next year as we look in that. If we go in that direction, they will also provide signing bonuses for that feature too, but it's still a little early for us.
And this is at both campuses.
This is for the entire
The
district.
whole thing.
They have, Trustee Gerlach, they have a small convenience store on the Relish campus that they manage to, but yes, both of the two larger campuses. And then we had asked for all of the proposers to put in information about what they would provide when we went into construction for the new bookstore that will be in the administration building on the Bryant campus. And this one put in a generous amount as well as others did too.
I noticed that you got an increase in fiscal year 23 budget revenue of approximately 200,000. Where does that come from?
There are a couple avenues available to us, but that was one that I would negotiate. I mentioned that there are signing bonuses. I would ask for the signing bonuses to be put into next fiscal year as opposed to this fiscal year. So we would receive it September 1 as opposed to immediately. And there's another, as I mentioned, there is another one potentially forthcoming if we sign up with them on an agreement to extend the first day services beyond what we're doing right now. It's early for us. The faculty have looked at it just very preliminary as well as I. So we have some more discussion with them that that's going to have to take place. If we go in that, if we move in that direction or propose that we move in that direction to the board next March, when the board approves the tuition and revenue, those will be the things that we will ask to have it all wrapped up if we go in that direction.
How long is the contract?
The initial contract, the base contract will be 5 years with an option for another 5 years and then one more option for another 5 years. So it's five-year increments.
So the signing bonus, 200,000, let's just say, is that a one-time deal or that's a one-time deal?
That's one time.
Okay. Okay. Trustee Board.
Just have a question. How are their services provided on our Sealy and Schulenburg campus? Is that taken care of by an administrator?
So
Half
there,
of them?
yeah, there really are very few services, very similar to the Relish campus, let me put it that way, in that all of that is online. So those students that are in Sealy and Schulenburg as well as Relish, they will order their books online. They will receive their books through the mail, and that's generally how that works.
Any other questions?
Just to clarify, so it's a 5-year contract that we're looking at?
the initial base year, Mr. Bohart would be, Dr. Krause will be 5 years. And then at that point, the college will be able to analyze, as well as the Barnes and Noble will be able to analyze how things are going at that point. And we have the opportunity to renew with another option for another 5 years. Then you do the same thing 5 years after that. So it's a 15-year total opportunity for both us as well as Barnes and Noble.
Okay, any other questions? If not,
Jim, one more.
yes,
Am I correct, or did I hear incorrectly? Do they do their own quote unquote leasehold improvements to their spot?
They have in the past, they have provided the fixturing if more than anything else. I don't know that I'd call it a build out or improvements. It's more fixturing, but that's part of what we're going to negotiate with them. I know the amount that they have offered, at least at this point, and that'll be part of the discussion that I'll have with them to see if that's adequate to do what we would like to have done in that space.
Okay, thank you.
okay. All right, I am looking for a motion that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Barnes and Noble for the college district's bookstore services. Trustee Bohart makes the motion. Trustee Krause and seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, trustees.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now we move on to item G, authorization for the administration to implement a cloud computing degree program. Mr. Anderson.
Chair Colcourse, Dr. Hensley, trustees, good morning. Seeking authorization for the administration to implement a cloud computing degree program. This will be housed in the area of Dean Max Hibbs, Engineering, Computer Technology, and Innovation Division. To present the information and background, we have Carol Wiggins, Program Coordinator for the Cloud Computing AAS degree.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
Thank you for having me. The Cloud Computing AAS degree will offer students a new path in the field of IT that is very high-reaching or in high demands, and far-reaching. According to LinkedIn data, in 2002, cloud computing was the #1 hard skill required and needed by companies in the United States. In addition, the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics stated that in 2021, there was a 1.4 million person gap between software development and people needed to fill those positions. This degree or these students will be able to fill those positions. Most employers are actually seeking out 2-year students with certifications to fill this gap in the job field. In addition to the industry certifications that the Computer Information Technology program already offers, we will be able to offer training and discounted certifications, exams for both Amazon Web Services, otherwise known as AWS, and Google Cloud. These certification potentials are at the foundation and associate levels of expertise and provide a tremendous advantage to our students when looking for jobs. Amazon has stated that people with the foundational and 1 associate level certification earn an average starting salary of $113,000 in the United States. In addition, with our partnership with AWS, they will guarantee an interview for any student completing our program with certifications. Also, AWS also has multitude of clients that use their services that are looking for and offering internships to students who are in the AWS program. Any questions?
I do.
Can you tell me one more time what AWS is?
Amazon Web Services. So it's their cloud providing services from Amazon.
Okay.
I'll just reiterate we are an AWS company and we need these type of individuals. Now, just, you mentioned certification. Will this include work in the passage of the AWS certification and Azure and all that?
Yes, so we are already a Microsoft partner, and so we already offer the Azure courses. We are now also an AWS partner as well as Google Cloud partner, and through those partnerships, we are authorized to teach their certification training. And then they also offer discounted exams for their actual certification exams. And once those are passed, they can put them on their resumes, their LinkedIn data, stuff like that.
Oh, that's great.
Mhm. So I did have a question.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
said fall 2022, which is coming up.
Yes.
So how is this going to get pushed out if it gets approved here?
So the program is already, all the courses for
Already
the degree
there.
have already been approved
Okay.
by curriculum and has gone through those motions. Once we have board approval, then it will go to the higher education board for their approval. The courses, the beginning courses are already on the fall schedule. We're just waiting for the final approval on the advertisement or the official induction, if you want to call it, of the degree itself.
Great. Any other questions, board? If not, I would entertain a motion that the board authorize the administration to implement a new Cloud Computing Associate of Applied Science, AAS degree program. Trustee Krausen makes the motion.
Second.
Trustee Wells seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Great job. Thank you. Okay, item H, authorization for the administration to implement a web programming degree program. Mr. Anderson?
Yes, again, thank you. Seeking authorization for the administration to implement a web programming degree. This, again, is another associate of applied science degree in the career and technical education area. We have Dr. Bruce Gooch, program coordinator, doing the background and overview and standing for questions.
I'm Bruce Gooch. So this program fits almost hand in glove with Carol's, the previous program. Think of a restaurant. We have the back end where the food comes in, it's prepared. We have the front end where the food is delivered to our customers. What I'm looking at is the front end. So the web, the client service, the client-facing service, and specifically user experience. So in this one, once again, we're seeing proliferation of specialized computer skills, computer programming skills that are available at a two-year college. 70% of people practicing in this area have a two-year degree or vocational training. So it's a perfect fit for Blen. Salaries, not quite as high as on Carol's side, but the average is about 77,000. Very high salaries. When we looked at demand in Texas, it's projected to grow at about 2,000 jobs per year over the next 10 years. And we're seeing, I was able to find 900 companies that were hiring web developers. The other thing is that they're spread across Texas. This isn't something where you've got to move to Houston, Dallas, Austin to practice. So I thought that this was wonderful. Third thing, I was able to put together a fairly high-end advisory board. The advisory board that I put together, one of the things that I pitched them was an artifact. So what we're going to do is solicit the community for web pages that people could build in their second year to develop a portfolio. Not for profits. We've done some of these already. We've done one. So the students walk away with an artifact. They can go to an employer and say, look, I built this. It also facilitates Blinn outreach into the communities that we serve.
How many hours is this program?
60, sir.
I'm sorry,
60 hours.
60-hour program? Okay. Is there any type of certificate embedded within it as well, or?
For this one, I can't, and that's why I went with the artifact.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other junior colleges that are doing this already that have this particular degree?
Yes, sir. We've found quite a few in Texas that do. I believe in the proposal that I put forward to the curriculum committee, I cited Lone Star and Dallas.
Not ACC?
I think they only required me to do 3.
Because I'm like, they need it up there.
Trustee Wells?
So when you said artifact and Blinn branding, so if they were to develop a website for, say, a nonprofit, would Blinn be cited at the bottom as the developer of the website?
I hadn't thought about that. We could do it either way. In the game, for instance, in the game program, we're building a website for IEEE visualization, and the college and the students will all be individually cited, yes.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I am looking for a motion that the board authorize the administration to implement a web programming Associate of Applied Science, AAS, degree program.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, trustee Ayler makes a motion, trustee Benke seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for your support. Trustee Wells, was the question, could students become involved in a community-based programming effort? Was that the question, trustee Wells?
No, basically, the website itself at the bottom, you usually say developed by, so I don't know if the Blinn brand will continue with that. I'm actually on here, so, whether the Blinn brand will continue, whatever website that would be developed.
I would hand that question off to Mr. Bray in terms of Blinn Communications. I was thinking the question was in context of could students participate, and every one of our occupational programs does have an internship. I think Mr. Bray would be able to answer your question or Mr. Schubert.
Trustee Wells, we'll go ahead and look into that with the program director and see the logistics of having a Blinn branding on the bottom of those websites, but also we'd have to talk with those entities and organizations and make sure that is fine with them. So we will explore that as this program rolls out. Thank you, trustee.
Okay,
Again, thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, we now move into item 7 on the agenda, executive session, and it appears we are going to go into executive session in accordance with 551.071 and 551.072. Why don't we go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and then we will go into executive session at 11:31.